Diamonds, no filter. Yeah, what it is, people. It's your boy, Doggie Diamonds. You already know Doggie Diamonds, No Filter podcast. I got a special guest with me today. Introduce yourself to the people.
I'm Captain Tazaryach of Isupk under Commander General Yahanna. That's who I am.
Isupk. What does that stand for?
The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. That's what it stands for.
And y'all disclaimer on every video is what?
That we are not affiliated. We usually say Israelite group.
Okay.
But we're not affiliated with no group.
Okay.
None whatsoever. And like I was explaining to you earlier, that not being affiliated does not mean that we don't deal with other people. I'm sitting here with you right now.
Yes, sir.
But what that just means is we don't know what goes on in their house. We knows what goes on in our house.
Okay.
So we don't want people, like if you go with the Israelite way, you got tons of different Israelites that teach different things, some spaced out shit, some crazy shit. And we don't want nobody to get it confused with us. So that's why we have that disclaimer. A couple years back, these cats was bragging about how they gonna rape white women and stuff and started associating us with that. We said, nah, we not with that because rape is unlawful.
So is it wrong when people just classify y'all as the dudes that be yelling on the corner? That's them. That's the ISUPK. That's them right there.
If they hear what we saying, I don't care how they classify. They could classify us as them loud dudes, them crazy niggas, whatever they. Long as they see us on the streets doing what we always do, which is fix the conditions of black people, because that's where we'll always be at.
Okay.
Wherever our people is at, you know what I mean? That's where we'll be at. So we've been called worse than that. That was actually pretty light.
Yeah.
Called way worse than that.
One West.
One West.
Explain to me what One West is.
Man, One West is like Jerusalem.
Okay.
Like is the best way. Like Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. That's like in the scriptures it says Jerusalem is our mother. That's like our homeland, so to speak. One West is that Jerusalem because up until One West was established by those 7 men, the truth was lost. Now, when I say the truth was lost, you got tons of people that had an idea that they was Israelites, taught that they was Israelites, but where they would get their foundation from wasn't where the Most High wanted it to be. And so when those 7 men in 69, Ariah, Yaquab, Kazak, Shah, Lahab, and Yeshaya established that was the very foundation that damn near anybody that calls himself an Israelite should accredit it to.
Okay.
If you're a Puerto Rican, a Mexican, Native Indian, Dominican, Haitian, and you calling yourself an Israelite, accredit it to the fathers that founded you. You know what I mean? So that's what One West is.
Okay, and One West, when people look for One West, where is One West?
Oh, the actual address is One West 125th
Okay,
Street.
Yeah, because when One West,
Harlem,
I was
New
like,
York.
where the fuck is West? Like, what the fuck is West?
Yeah, it's One West 125th Street in Harlem. It's in Harlem. It's right on 125th Street. I think it's like an Applebee's in the office. The office upstairs is where it used to be the school and the classroom, and that's where it all started from.
So we had this discussion earlier. It's safe to say that a lot of knowledge comes from Harlem.
Hell yeah.
Different schools of thought. Scientology was rated Harlem too.
But that ain't come from Harlem.
Yeah, that ain't come from Harlem.
That came from a devil.
Reason why I'm saying that, do you think it was important to them to put this school in Harlem because they know the nation of gods of earth is in Harlem, the Hebrews is in Harlem, Nation of Islam is in Harlem, a lot of Pan-Africanists in Harlem. Do you think it was important for them to try to target?
If you think about Harlem as a whole, Harlem is like the black gold, like the black city.
Yeah, Renaissance.
Like how we say One West is Jerusalem.
Yeah.
For America, Harlem would be the same thing because everything black was there. You know what I mean? And like you name 5%ers and Muslims, them Nuwabians, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Everybody, it was damn near like when you wanted to be a singer or something, you had to make it where? At the Apollo.
Yeah, you got to go through Harlem.
So Harlem is that same place at that time. Now, not today because it's all gentrified, but back then, Harlem was the motherland.
Would you say gentrification started with Bill Clinton?
Man, gentrification started with Martin Luther King. Man, fuck that. Yeah. Once they gave him a mic and allowed him to speak and join us, the white people, man, that was gentrification to me. And this, what you're seeing now, is like the completion of his nightmare. Okay. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it.
And he even actually admitted,
right,
I feared that I integrated my people into a burning house.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know that he said that.
And the people that do know it, the sad part is the people that do know it and still push his dream.
Yeah.
They're worse, because if he's saying that to you, at some point,
you got to
see, right? You got to see the wake up call.
Yeah.
You got to see the wake up call. No different than when you talk about with Malcolm. Now, I don't agree with his ideology, but in the sense of, even he brought out that the way that the Muslims over here was teaching that form of Islam was incorrect.
Yeah.
And so people should have recognized that this is an Arab religion and then walk away from it. But we be so in love with who we look up to as gods, so to speak, or who we look up to as idols, or who we revere, that we can't let their dream crash, and even if we see it killing us. And we associate ourselves with famous people, with famous celebrities, and we allow them to be the voice.
We start man worshiping.
Yeah, we start man worshiping, where we can't see no fault in them, even if it's staring us directly in the face. So that's what I would say to that.
When did you come into the knowledge?
I came into this knowledge was about this time in 2009.
Oh, wow.
I haven't been in the truth that long.
I was say that ain't that long ago.
That's not that long. I'm a monster though.
Yeah.
No, but in about 2009, I came in just like anybody else, man. I was out. I had a 9 to 5, but then I hustled, got high like everybody else.
Uh-huh.
You know, I came up in gangs and all that shit or whatever like that. Tried to be Christian, but it just didn't fit. And when I got this knowledge of who I was, and I seen that they wasn't soft about it. You know what I mean? Because like when you think of the Bible, you either think of some white man, some faggot, or something like that. You're like, man, I'm not dealing with the Bible at all. But I seen these men, these strong men. Like the first camp I ever seen, I saw General Hazayan had a white man on his knees kissing their feet, not speaking in a soft tongue. And when I saw that, I said, I've been locked ever since. Like you couldn't tell me that this isn't where to be. And then when I found out that the Bible wants black men to be strong, like the Christian church teaches you to be soft as hell. So you got all these soldiers out here. Like I look at these gangbangers, if you want to use that term. I look at these gangbangers, drug dealers, murderers, thieves, and stuff like that, and I say, man, them is soldiers. Now, if I get them soldiers, now if they can go do that on the left-hand side, imagine if I get them right.
Over here,
Imagine if you coming on to this side, you don't have to lose your manliness. If anything, you could be more of a man because you're doing it on the right-hand side. So that's what made me get locked into this, and I stay locked into this. And I learned all that from Commander Yahanna.
Who offered you the biggest resistance in your family, friends, or whatever? Who was like, oh, here we go with this crazy shit? Who?
I would say it started with my family first, and I bring them up only because that was probably my toughest trial, so to speak. Because my mother, she's a trustee in the church. You know, she's the one really, I will accredit her to at least allowing me to be susceptible to listen to somebody when they talk about the Bible. Because my mother, even though she was a Christian, she kept me into Christ, because if it wasn't for her, I would have been a Muslim. Because especially after Malcolm movie, I think Malcolm converted about 1 million black men into being
I'm
Muslim.
Malcolm X.
No, not that part. When he had that part when he had him stand up and he did like this, and he stepped like that. Man, get out of here, man. I was ready to be a Muslim, but because my mother taught me about Christ, and Christ said it wasn't going to be no other prophets after him, that's what made me not follow after Islam. So I want to give my mother that props. She's a strong black woman, and but they were my strongest resistance. Only a lot of it because I was young into it, so I didn't have a lot of knowledge, and they was like, "You sure you're going to do this? Why are you doing this?" But what I will say is at the same time they were my strongest opposition. My mama also was the one that told me to keep doing it too. So I give my mother props for giving me hell and telling me that I need to keep doing it. You know what I mean?
Did she see, because maybe she saw the change of your life? You wasn't out there getting high and doing
what she said. Now, she don't approve of the truth. That's the heavy part. But what she said, like we had a conversation, I was telling her about this this dream I had. I'll be honest about it. I was telling her about this dream I had where I was in the house. Okay, I had went outside and then I went in the house. It was my house, but when I opened the door to the house, it was like the furniture was new, the TVs was new, everything was new. So I didn't think it was my house. So I left and I go up these stairs And I see this old black man with black eyes. Eyes was black. And he said, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm getting on this train because that's not my house." And he was like, "Nah, that is your house. And you got to go back there." So I was talking to my mother about it. And she was like, "That's probably telling you to keep doing what you're doing right here." So I give credit to my mom for that. So outside of that, I ain't really had no opposition that I really cared about.
Okay.
Like, the reason why I'm bringing up my family because I cared about them. I love them to this day. I still love my mom. But I go down there, chill, whatever, eat with her and stuff like that. So outside of my family, whatever anybody else had to say never really mattered.
So prior to coming into your truth, was you swining? Was you doing all that?
I wasn't swining, but whatever you want to name it, smoke. I never did anything higher than weed, but smoking, fornicating, anything like that or whatever, hustling. And shit like that, selling whatever I could sell and make some money.
When you say fornicating, what is fornicating?
Oh, fornicating is sleeping with another man's woman. I've done that before. Sleeping with prostitutes. I ain't never done that. Let me not put that out there. My bad. I ain't never. That's all they need is Tazaryach said he was sleeping with prostitutes. But sleeping with another man's woman. Okay. Going into a strip club. I've done that before.
I done that.
So those are examples of fornicating. So. That's what that would be.
So
any unlawful sex, biblically.
So what is lawful sex? Marriage
lawful sex is when you lay with that woman, that's your woman. You can't put that woman away. You can't tell I ain't dealing with you no more.
Ain't no more side. You can't have a side chick, no jump off.
You can have. There's no such thing as a side chick or a jump off. So like, if you lay with 2 women, those 2 women belong to you forever. Period. You lay with 3 women. Them 3 women, they belong to you.
So the women will have to subscribe to this also. Or in your mind, you saying, yo, y'all mine's forever. Because I
think it's why, okay, wisdom would have you say, before you lay with any woman, because you cannot get rid of that woman, is to lay everything out.
Okay.
Now,
let's say,
you ain't got to have all your women lined up together.
Okay.
Like in one kumbaya session. That's not nothing you got to have. Now, if you can, you can. But it's not, like, if my wives is all in this room over here, I don't have to have all my wives in there just to say, look at all my wives. Right?
Okay.
I don't have to do that. They could be, separate or everything. And all they got to understand is that they're married to you. They're not married to the other women at all. I did a lecture on this called How to Share Your Man. It's right on my YouTube page.
What's your YouTube? Tell them.
My YouTube page is UPK Harlem. It's the one in New York. You also got Commander Jenny Yahanna's YouTube page. You can check that out as well. Those are my 2 YouTube pages.
All right, so this would always confuse me, right? With the men who have multiple wives. You have multiple wives?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, that just sounded all right. Keeping it a buck, there is no threesomes, lesbianism going on?
No, that's unlawful sex.
Okay, so you, without getting in your business, you knock one down, and then you knock another one down, or is it like...
Well, like in the same day, or like...
In the same room?
Oh, no.
See, that's what... See, because
that's unlawful sex. Like, you can't see...
Explain that.
You can't see another man or woman's nakedness. That does not belong to you.
So you going
all the way... So if I had the 2 women in there, why would... And the psychological damage that you're going to do to that woman.
Okay.
Because imagine you making your woman, because that's really what you're doing. The woman don't want to be in the room while you banging another woman out.
Because she loves you.
So imagine the psychological damage that you're doing at the same time. So you don't do it like that. The relationship that the woman has with you is your relationship. You know what I mean? If she has one with the sister, that's cool, but it's not law that she has to have a relationship.
Yeah, because I was like, dudes be like, I got 4 wives. I'm like, yo, he just freaking off, man. He just doing like the crazy shit.
Not in Isupk. Ain't I can't speak for anybody else.
So if it was found that one of the brothers was doing something like that,
they would get dealt with.
Okay.
Like in the Israelite school of UPK, if you commit a transgression, there's a council, there's a structure, there's an order, there's a law.
Is there
like
an ass whooping too, or like? Well, you don't got to say that, but
the Bible says
the brother behind the camera was like.
The Bible says you go to the unjust for the law instead of the just. We're the just.
Okay.
So if there's any altercations that are had, we can handle it. We can deal with that. Okay. You know what I mean? And that's how it should be. We shouldn't have to run the white man to resolve our issues. If we got issues, whether it be wives, whether it be brothers, or anything, we should be able to work it out amongst ourselves. Otherwise, what we're really saying is we can't have no law or order without the white man. Yeah. If we can't do that.
How do you for educational purposes.
No, sir.
How do you get women to agree to being are they called sister wives? What is that called?
Yeah, I guess that's what they call them. Is it called sister wives?
Ribs.
Yeah, ribs.
Yeah. He said that to me. Yeah, this rib is gonna braid my hair. I was like, nah, I know the lingo.
Yeah.
But my thing is, how do you get them to? Is it tough to get them to?
I'm gonna tell you something, man. Okay, now I'm gonna speak from a majority level, not the minority level.
Okay.
Every woman already knows they share their man. Every woman.
They're gonna flame Tazaryach. Your ass is in trouble.
You know what a woman would rather have? Because every woman knows that, you know what they would rather have? They would rather you come home in the middle of the night, say, nah, I was chilling with the brothers. Yeah. Wash up, brush your teeth, get the scent off of you, or whatever like that. Whereas you have some women that would prefer for you to just be upfront.
They'd rather have a piece of you than none of you.
Right. Not even necessarily a piece of you than none of you, because all of them have all of you. There ain't a part of them that they don't have. But what they would rather have is the honesty. If you're going to do it, like in the Israelite School UPK, if we meet a sister, the first thing we would say is, do you have a man? If she don't have a man, then you can even talk to her. Like if she got a man, we won't even talk. Like if she's talking to someone, we won't even talk to him. Because we don't, now here's why we don't do that. Because we love that brother that she's talking to. That brother that she's talking to, because I'm a brother and that's my brother, I wouldn't want to violate him. Because a woman can be seduced by attention. You know, that seduction that comes with attention, to have 4 men talking to her at the same time, she'll be thinking what's the best option the wrong way. As opposed to let her focus on that brother. So if she's talking to a brother, we say no. If she has a man, that's off limits. And we have to say man, homie, lover, friend, because we can't say, do you got a husband? Because most people think of marriage as if you get the certificate from the white man. Whereas we look at marriage as that once you penetrate that woman, that's marriage. That's your wife. That's how we look at it.
I got mad wives then. Shit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hell.
Nah, ain't no hell.
No, but I'm just saying though, because a lot of times, you know, I might meet a female and I'll be like, do you got a man? But they be in. So how do you handle them going through breakups, but they didn't officially break up? Do you still court them, or do you say, I can't mess with you until it's final?
Well, the way it really is, I know, now I'll speak personally and I'll speak in the truth. Okay. When you meet a sister, every sister pretty much has had a boyfriend or man or husband or something.
Or somebody
like that
won't leave their ass alone.
When you come into the truth, like John, the 3rd chapter says, you become born again. Okay. So like if you was a murderer, you come into the truth, you've never murdered. Okay. If you was a thief, you've never stole. Okay. If you was a woman that had 10 husbands, you come into the truth, you've never had a husband. Okay. Because you're being born again, you're being renewed, you're allowed to fully repent under the righteous judgment of the Most High. So with that being said, when they come in, they have to come into that knowledge as well. They have to come into that truth. Because if they're just going to come in and be the same way they was before, then they did have those 10 husbands. They did have those 7 men or whatever that they was with. So we try to teach them or educate them the proper way. So like even if you meet a sister and she tell me she ain't got no man, I don't believe that.
Word, yeah. Especially if she's bad. Like,
because a sister will, you think they honest because they talking to me or they talking to you? Yeah. A sister's gaming just like a brother's gaming. Yeah. So brothers shouldn't be in a rush to just sleep with a woman. Like we have to be, like black people are the most social people on the face of the planet. Yeah. Now, you give the most social people on the face of the planet no laws, and we buck wild. Yeah. You have to put fences and hedges. Yeah. So I would suggest to every brother, when you talk to a sister, don't be in a rush to sleep with that sister. You understand? Get a proper understanding of what it means to take care of that woman for the rest of your life. For that woman to take care of that man for the rest of your life. You know
that shit's tough, right, Tazaryach?
Now, I'm going to tell you what that would do, though.
That shit's tough, bro.
That would stop all the whoredom that takes place. Okay. All the women that got 5 bodies for all the abortions that they getting because they sleeping with the wrong men because ain't nobody educating them properly. Understood. And so we need a lot of structure in the black community, and that's one of them, controlling that. Yeah. And I'm not saying, and just for the record too, I'm not saying that every man has to have more than one woman. That's not a law either. Okay. If you choose to have 1 or 20, that's up to you. But let wisdom be your guide in doing that, because that's a hell of a responsibility.
Because I'm seeing a lot of dudes who saying they got multiple wives, and it seems more in a lustful way opposed to you taking care of these women. I'm not talking about the brothers in the Hebrew Israelite faith, but I'm just talking about
no matter what's your reasoning for getting the women, if you understand, like, let's say if you are attracted to a woman physically, if you take that woman and then you take care of that woman, however you chose to get her, doesn't matter. It just matters. What matters is you understanding the responsibility that you had to take on in taking that woman. You have to take care of her. You got to guide her, give her instruction. You got to put hedges around a black woman. I mean, good night. You see how she is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's no disrespect to black women, but they running reckless. They running wild, just like our brothers. So the same way we got to put a hedge around our brothers and structure, we got to put structure around the black women. Unless we saying we can't fix each other.
What about the defectors? Because I see sometimes, I've known women who became Muslim. They became whatever the man was for the man.
That's a lot.
And as soon as they break up, they take, I took that shit off. I don't fuck with that shit no more. That motherfucker was crazy. He had me, I wanted my pork chops. I came in with a pepperoni. He smacked it out my hand. How do you feel about Doggie Diamonds, no filter.